1 score and 7 years ago, I had probably 4 score and 7 score CDs, but now I have scores more. In fact, it's hard to keep score of all the scores that I have. Greetings, one and all, and welcome once again to Tom's Hit Parade. By the way, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, share this video with your friends, and leave me your thoughts down in the comment section. I would be forever grateful to you for doing that. So yes, today it occurred to me a few weeks ago that it's been a while since I've done a soundtrack update. An update on the soundtracks that I've added to my collection in the last, it's been a few months, I think. Not counting, of course, the ones that I've gotten in thrift store hauls and that kind of thing, which actually has not been very many lately. So yeah, I thought I would run down. It's a nice little pack of stack of CDs I've got here. I thought I'd have a little fun showing them off to you. And yes, my continued love of film scores, rekindled love of film scores from decades earlier. I'm into my fifth or sixth year of just going bonkers about film scores. Lately, I don't know what ever brought that on, but I'm glad that it has not diminished. I've been feeling a little bit of burnout when it comes to other types of music, like rock and pop and stuff, in the last couple of weeks. And so, that's like I don't know if the scales are permanently tipping in favor of soundtracks, or if this is just one of the ebbs and flows of my interest in contemporary pop and rock music. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I get started with the compilations here. I've got a few compilations now, and the vast majority of these CDs are from the Varese Sarabande label, one of probably my favorite, at least in terms of number of releases of theirs that I have, my favorite soundtrack release label. Excuse me. The first one is a compilation I did not know existed, and this is probably the oldest in this bunch of CDs I'm showing to you. In fact, I'm not 100% sure I haven't shown this one to you before, so if this is a repeat, forgive me. But yeah, this one is called The High and the Mighty, and it is selections from movies, or at least scenes from movies, having to do with flight. This celebrates like the 100th, The High and the Mighty, A Century of Flight, so roughly the 100th anniversary of the Wright brothers' flight. These are performed by Richard Kaufman, or conducted by Richard Kaufman, performed by the London Symphony Orchestra, so it's a great orchestra. And yeah, I did not know that this compilation existed, so it's making me wonder how many other interesting compilations are out there that I don't have. There are a couple that I found recently. But it's got the theme from The Boy Who Could Fly by Bruce Broughton, a beautiful, beautiful theme. He does beautiful themes. I mean, that's his thing. That's why he's one of my favorite composers, Bruce Broughton. Then we've got the flying theme from E.T. the Extraterrestrial, of course. The Spirit of St. Louis by Franz Waxman. A suite from Airplane, the spoof of airport disaster movies from the 1980s. That one was done by Elmer Bernstein, a straight composer doing the music for a parody film is something that did not happen very often, I don't think. And then the theme from The Last Starfighter by Craig Safin. That is another one of my favorite themes of all time. But and Star Trek: The Motion Picture. And so yes, a great track listing on there. If you want to take a look at it, I can pause it there. But yeah, very nice to have added that to my collection. I have really been appreciating that. And then these next two, I've got. This was a series of 3 titles that Varese released. I would call them sampler CDs, but samplers imply that they're shorter, shorter compilations. But these are kind of pretty much filled to the brim. These are like an hour long, maybe more than an hour long. But it was a series called Big Movie Hits. So yeah, essentially selections from other Varese releases done in a compilation style. And I've had the first volume, which is Hollywood Soundstage, Big Movie Hits Volume 1. I've had that for a while. But in a recent sale on fsmcds.com, a great resource for discount CDs, by the way, soundtrack CDs. Most of them used, but they're almost always in perfect condition. Any defects are noted in the inventory and in the comments in each release. But yeah, prices lower than you would find them on eBay or Discogs. So yes, if you're looking for discounted soundtracks, yeah, check them out. fsmcds.com. Got to check them out. Anyway, As I said, I've got Volume 1, Hollywood Soundstage Big Movie Hits Volume 1, but FSM CDs had the next two volumes, Highway to Hollywood Big Movie Hits Volume 2. This one's got it's got the theater poster art for the movies, as well as the track listing, of course. So lots of good stuff on here. Kindergarten Cop by Randy Edelman is one of my favorites. Steel Magnolias, Predator 2. It's got a nice selection there. And they also had Hollywood Backlot, Big Movie Hits Volume 3, although the phrase Big Movie Hits Volume 3, I noticed recently, is not on the cover, but it is on the side. So yes, it is legitimately an installment in the Big Movie Hits series. But it's another nice selection of film themes. And I probably have, I've got a 4-disc 25th anniversary Varese Sarabande collection. Probably the majority of what's on these compilations is on that one as well. But, you know, I love to have a collection, a true collection of the Varese compilations. It's really nice. This Terminator 2, City Slickers, that's a great theme from that movie. The Great Mouse Detective, Hudson Hawk, Final Analysis, Basic Instinct, My Cousin Vinny, it's another good one. So, yeah, nice selection of stuff there. And another series that Varese put out for a while, and I don't think it lasted very long, I think it was only like 3 or 4 installments, was a series called Great Composers. The first, or one of the first installments, was John Williams. So obviously I had to get that one. I've had that one for many, many years. And they put out another one, a 2-disc version for Georges Delerue. I'm not sure why the John Williams one wasn't 2 discs, but the only one that I know of that was 2 discs was the Georges Delerue installment. And then he had this one on FSM CDs, the Elmer Bernstein installment of the collection. And there might be 1 or 2 others out there in the Great Composer series. I'm not sure. I'll have to check Discogs again. But yes, a bunch of stuff from mostly from releases done by Varese Sarabande, either original soundtracks or in some cases re-recordings of his film themes. But yeah, lots of good stuff. And then, excuse me, there was a series of CDs, kind of the same sort of thing, compilations, but centering on a specific composer. And I decided I had to pick up the 3 of them that were by 3 of my favorite composers. These guys, all 3 of these guys are definitely in my top 10. We have Alan Silvestri. This one is Voyages, the Film Music Journeys of Alan Silvestri. It's got a lot of stuff on here. I am getting to the point where I probably have more of these titles than I don't, the full soundtrack releases. But still, I really wanted to have this one for the ones that I don't have in my collection. But yes, Back to the Future Part 3, Forrest Gump, Father of the Bride, Romancing the Stone, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Abyss, Predator 2. So definitely nice to have that one. And these next 2 I used to have a long time ago until I drastically trimmed back my soundtrack collection many years ago. This one is Titanic and other film scores of James Horner. So this is Varese's James Horner compilation. And same thing, it is a mix of actual soundtrack recordings and re-recordings put out by Varese at some point after the film. So yes, the majority of these are re-recordings. A lot of them by the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. We've got Titanic, a nice big 14.5-minute suite from Titanic. And you've got Apollo 13, Cocoon the Return, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Aliens, Braveheart. So it's a pretty good compilation. Missing a couple of the scores of his that are my favorites, but no compilation is going to be perfect. And then the final one in this list of compilations here is Frontiers. It's one by a compilation of Jerry Goldsmith works. And this one is kind of unusual in that it is conducted by Jerry Goldsmith. So yes, he composes and conducts his own stuff, performed by the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. So I'm building up quite a little collection of Royal Scottish National Orchestra titles. But yes, nice track listing on this one. Star Trek First Contact, Logan's Run, Star Trek The Motion Picture, Total Recall, Alien, Damnation Alley, Capricorn 1. So, yeah. Decent little collection there. Take a quick drink here. And then we have, now we're getting into just the plain old soundtracks. Not that they're plain old soundtracks, but you know what I mean. First one we have here is, this is one of the few that is not on the Varese label. This is the soundtrack from Spartacus, the classic 50s film, music by Alex North. And there are editions of the soundtrack that are much more extensive, expansive than this one. But, excuse me, but this one I think was $1 on fsmcds.com. So I figure buy a budget version. If I really, really love it, I can always expand later to a more extensive collection. And here we have another one that is, I've got one that's kind of a companion volume to it. It is a Varese release. It's a re-recording by the Utah Symphony Orchestra, conducted by, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name properly. I'm probably going to butcher it. Varujan Kojian. And it is a film starring Errol Flynn and directed by Michael Curtiz, I believe. And so it's, it's kind of, so many things in common with the other one that I have, The Adventures of Robin Hood. This one is The Seahawk. So it's a re-recording of the classic Korngold score. Yes, another commonality is they're both by Eric Wolfgang Korngold. So yeah, I had the other one for quite a while. I figured, why not pick this one up? So yes, a nice re-recording of a classic film score. I am still very slowly delving into the classic film scores. I am obviously much more a fan of the more recent, more contemporary scores, since they are obviously of my time. So, but still, it's lots of fun, and you can see that my passion for film scores is just almost off the charts. We've got a few Danny Elfman scores here. These first two are not on the Varese label, but it was nice to excuse me, pick them up. We've got Black Beauty, which is a remake from 2005. 1994, close. But yes, I need to watch this movie and see what it's like. It seems to be had an interesting write up on Wikipedia. So, but yes, always one up for expanding my Danny Elfman discography. He's another one who's in my top 10 film composers. And another one here, Charlotte's Web. So yes, I've got his more chiller thriller stuff like his Tim Burton movies. Then I've got the more superhero stuff like Spider-Man and Dick Tracy isn't a superhero, but you know what I mean. The heroic stuff and the sci-fi stuff, Men in Black, that kind of thing, and then the family films like this. So I'm building a pretty well-rounded Elfman collection. And I had a copy of this one that I found. I think it was at House of Records, but it was kind of scratched up. So and he had this one for, was it $3 or was it even just $1? I can't remember, but yeah, a very good price nonetheless at fsmcds.com for this one. So I decided I had to pick it up. And then the Varese release of Danny Elfman's that I have is Extreme Measures. So it's another one of the drama, tense suspense drama type scores from Elfman. So yeah, he might be one of the composers that I have a more limited collection of, but that is the most well-rounded. I mean, obviously my collection of John Williams is well-rounded because I have almost everything he did. But you know what I mean. And then here we have a superhero movie, but it is not scored by Danny Elfman as the first two installments were. Batman Forever, the third film, was scored by Elliot Goldenthal. So I was happy to pick this. And I think this one was another $1 CD on fsmcds.com. So yeah, he did a good theme for Batman to kind of not really replace, but to kind of build off of Danny Elfman's mood that he established for the first two Batman movies. And here we have just a couple of kind of miscellaneous stuff, things that were inexpensive, and I just decided to go ahead and give them a try for just for the heck of it. Here we have a comedy called Wagons East. I believe this was, oh God, what is his name? Okay, John Candy. I believe it was John Candy's last movie. It was a comedy, a Western comedy, scored by Michael Small, who I had never heard of, but I guess he's done quite a bit of stuff. He did a lot of stuff starting in like the 60s, I think. So yeah, it's a composer that I am not very familiar with. And I believe this is the first Michael Small score that I have. So yeah, fun stuff. And then I have a few. Oh, actually, no. I just have in this batch. I just have one Randy Edelman. I've got a couple of Alan Silvestri coming up. But yes, the one Randy Edelman score that I have in today's batch is The Distinguished Gentleman, an Eddie Murphy comedy. Yes, I've got several Randy Edelman scores. He is probably also in my top 10, down near the bottom of my top 10, but still, he makes some good film music, and I appreciate his stuff. This one had been on and off of FSM CDs for quite a while, and I kept hesitating and missing it when it was on previously. And that's one thing about FSMCDs.com is when you go to search for something, if it's not in his inventory, it won't come up with any results. So that's one advantage in a way, that if you go look for something, you see the result come up, you add to cart, and then you go to checkout, and it says, "Sorry, it's out of stock." You won't get that annoyance with FSMCDs.com. When he gets another batch of CDs into sale, and if it's in there, it will then reappear in the inventory. So yeah, one nice thing about FSMCDs.com. A couple of Alan Silvestri. We have Richie Rich. I know, and this one I bought partly to have kind of like with who is it I was just talking about, Danny Elfman, to kind of try and get some different sides of Alan Silvestri's stuff. So yes, here we have a family movie, and I'm sure I have a couple of other family movies of Alan Silvestri's here, but yeah, and this one was another one that was like $2 or $3, and so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. So this one is, at least normally, it is decidedly much more expensive. When you guys, those of you who are into soundtrack collecting and are kind of have your finger on the pulse of the uh, going market prices for soundtracks, your jaws are going to drop when you see this one. But there's a story that goes along with it. Here we have Romancing the Stone by Alan Silvestri, and this is the Varese Sarabande edition. Now, normally this goes for like $100, or at least 80, $90, but I got this one for $12. $12. And the reason I got it for $12 was, you probably can't even see it, but right up here, there's a little wrinkle and tear in the tray card. I messaged Lucas, the guy who runs FSMCDs.com, and I said, "Are you sure that's the right price? Are you sure you're letting it go for that low?" And he said, "Well, yes. When soundtrack CDs have defects, collectors can be very picky about not paying too much. I mean, for if I hadn't known that this tear was there, I wouldn't even have noticed it. It's that small. So I would have expected, okay, this he would have marked this down to maybe 40, $50, but he marked it down to $12. Needless to say, I pounced on it because yeah, not only to build my Silvestri collection, but I always enjoyed the movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I've enjoyed the movie. So needless to say, when I have a chance to pounce on something for that much of a discount, a 90% discount, I'm going to grab it. This next one is the only Dave Grusin score that I have in today's collection, and it's another movie that I have not seen in a long time, but I fondly remember it. And it was up, and it goes for, I think I paid $45 for it. It goes for usually $70 to $80, and that gives you an idea of most of the time the kind of discounts FSMCDs offers. So you have to be really quick when he releases a new bunch of listings on the web store. You have to be quick to grab them, but you can find some great deals on there. This one is a movie called Lucas. It was a movie starring Corey Haim and Charlie Sheen and Cary Green. And interestingly enough, Cary Green was in The Goonies, which was another film scored by Dave Grusin. So, but yes, this is a sweet movie. I don't think it's on any streaming services. It's like the only way you can watch it is by finding the DVD. But it is worth watching. It is a sweet movie. Really enjoy it. And so obviously when the score presented itself for purchase, yeah, I was going to jump on it. So yes, I'm patiently waiting and watching the thrift stores and whatnot for possibly finding a DVD copy of the movie so I can watch it again. But great movie. Now here's a score by David Arnold, and I had the original version of this. And I didn't realize that this version existed. I thought it was just the original Milan Records, I believe it was, release, and then one on, I think it's a 2-disc set from Entrada, I believe it is. But Stargate. This is the deluxe edition that was released on Varese Sarabande. It's got 8 or 10 minutes more of music than the original version, so not hugely expanded from the original release, but knowing my have the fondness that I have for the Varese label, I had to pick it up, and yeah, and this one was $12, I think. So yeah, nice to have a slightly expanded version of the Stargate soundtrack. A great soundtrack, by the way. Another quick drink here, and I am one CD away from a John Williams update. Yes, I've got quite a nice little John Williams update to show you. But before that, another score by performed by the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. We have Battlestar Galactica. Yes, this is not the original soundtrack, but it is conducted by the guy who wrote the music, Stu Phillips. So yes, it's very nice, and it is a Varese release. So I decided I wanted to have it. I kind of wanted to have the soundtrack from Battlestar Galactica. So technically, this is not the soundtrack, but the Royal Scottish National Orchestra does such a great job with the stuff that they've done for the Varese label that I had to pick it up. And it was a little bit pricey. Lucas was charging $25 for it, but it was worth it to me. So there's that stuff. And now on to my John Williams update. I have 2, 4, 6, 7 John Williams CDs to add to my collection. First one, I finally was able to, and I bought this one on eBay along with something else, I think, which I can't remember what it was now, but I was happy to get this. This completes my Star Wars trilogy as conducted by Charles Gerhardt. This is The Return of the Jedi. I've got the original Star Wars movie, which was paired with Close Encounters on the same CD, and The Empire Strikes Back. So now I have Return of the Jedi, and I think this was the first version of the Return of the Jedi music that I owned on CD. It was actually before I got to the actual soundtrack, the actual score, and there was 1 or 2 pieces here that were not in that are not on the original soundtrack. The first version of the soundtrack. The fight in the dungeon when Luke fights the Rancor Beast. That was not in the original soundtrack release, but it was here. So very nice to have that in my collection. And again, that is the National Philharmonic Orchestra. Yeah, and they do a very good job of that stuff too. Now I've got a couple of, actually 3 releases from Film Score Monthly. That is the Lucas Kendall's original record label that was spun off from his magazine, Film Score Monthly, and that is where the FSM in fsmcds.com comes from, because this web store is run by Lucas Kendall also. But yes, a few, and 3, I think all 3 of these, maybe just 2 of them, are they're split with a John Williams score and a score by somebody else. First off, we have Jericho, which was scored by Jerry Goldsmith, along with The Ghostbreaker, which is scored by John Williams. And The Ghostbreaker was a pilot. Give you a nice, better look at it. It was a pilot for a TV series, of a band of hunters or investigators of the supernatural, kind of like maybe a progenitor of the X-Files meets Ghostbusters in a way. So yes, I kind of would have liked to have seen that. Maybe it might have been cool, but also cool to know that John Williams did the music for that production. So yeah, very nice to have. And album produced by Lucas Kendall. So I know him. Anyway, so there's that one. And then this next one is here we have Night Watch, which was another TV pilot, I believe, scored by Johnny Williams. And this one is paired with Killer by Night, which was another crime drama. That one was scored by Quincy Jones. So it's another nice little addition. And yes, these I bought from a couple of different sources. I think I bought one off of Discogs and one or two of the others off of eBay. And when actually, no, I think I got Discogs, eBay, and fsmcds.com. I bought one each from the 3 of those. So yes, had a Christmas gift windfall of money. Couldn't figure out what to spend it on. I was going to spend it on a couple of expanded Bruce Broughton scores, but then I decided, I can't make up my mind. So fill those last few little holes in my John Williams collection, stuff that I was not clamoring to get earlier. So that's why I have these, basically. And the third in this split volume series is a film, one of his early motion pictures, and one of the first non-comedies that he did, motion pictures, Diamond Head. It is by John Williams, and it is paired with Gone with the Wave, composed by Lalo Schifrin, the late Lalo Schifrin. So, yeah, and the theme from Diamond Head is actually a vocal version by James Darren, who I've enjoyed for a long time. I love his singing. So yeah, another FSM twofer, 2 scores on 1 CD. So it's nice to have those. And I also, these next 2, I actually found a lot of 4 expanded John Williams CDs, 2 of which I already had, but I would have paid as much for the 2 I didn't have buying them elsewhere as I paid for the entire lot from this guy. So I figured buy those 2. The 2 that I already have, I can sell to Lucas, because that's how he gets his inventory, is he buys from, usually it's the collections of people who have passed away, the estates of other people. But some people who just want to get rid of their collections or parts of their collections, they can just sell to Lucas. He gives them, sells them on commission, that kind of thing. So I could just take the 2 that I already had out of this lot, along with the original version of the one that I got in this lot, sell those to Lucas and get a little more money that way, recoup some of my expenses. But anyway, the 2 scores that I got out of this lot was Monsignor. Now, I did not have a previous CD version of this, but I did have this on LP. And this was the only score of John Williams that I only had on LP, that I did not yet have on CD. So that was my big motivator for getting that. And this is the expanded version that has the actual film score, and then a remaster of the soundtrack album, which was actually different recordings. So very, very nice to have that. And this one goes for usually $60-$75. And same with The River, the 1984 drama with Mel Gibson that John Williams scored. And yes, this one I did have. The original release was on Varese Sarabon label. And this, again, same thing with this one. It has the score, the actual film score, along with the soundtrack album, which was different recordings, differently arranged in different arrangements. So yeah, nice to get these 2, to have them add those to my collection. I'm almost complete with the expanded releases upgrades. There are a couple that are just prohibitively expensive that I'm just not going to be able to get unless I win the lottery or something. But yeah, those 2, it was nice to get those 2. And then this last one in my collection, the last one for this video is the last John Williams one that I have upgraded again from the original version, which I will sell to Lucas. But this one I did not get from Lucas. I think I got this one off of Discogs for a decent price. The expanded version of War of the Worlds, which I actually, right about the time I bought this, I actually sat down and watched the movie. And it was really good. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. Tom Cruise stars in it and is directed by Steven Spielberg. So yes, if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it. It's a good movie. But yes, and this is a 2-disc version. Disc 1 is the score as heard in the movie, and disc 2 is the remastered soundtrack album. So yeah, I have accumulated a nice little batch of soundtracks to add to my collection. As I've mentioned earlier, the only problem is trying to find room to put them on the shelves. I'm running out of room fast for shelving, but hopefully we will find a solution to that at some point in the not too distant future. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. Be sure to like it if you liked it. And before you go, drop me some feedback in the comment section. I would love to know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to catch my future videos, and hit my username to browse my old videos. Links to my socials and my favorite fellow YouTubers are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. And remember, life's too short to be a music snob.